Hey Top Senders, Red Joey here. Today taking a look at the latest game news and a Plasma Landorus. Let's start with everyone's favourite piece of news, the new Megas. First teased to us from Pokemon Smash, we now have a second form for Mega Mewtwo. The latest revealed form is Mega Mewtwo X, which is a psychic fighting type and is obtained through the use of the Mega Stone Mewtwo X. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan, but I can't help but pull the old Freezer comparison, especially with the elongated toes and the aggressive stance, but that's just me. I'm sure there are more people that like it than dislike it. Alongside Mega Mewtwo X, we also have Mega Garchomp, and to be honest, it's another design I'm not overly fond of, mostly because they've turned his fins into scythes. On the plus side, his new ability is Sand Force, meaning that his stab ground type moves will gain an extra 30% power boost when there's a sandstorm out, which in my opinion is a huge improvement over Sand Veil. But enough rambling about that. Moving on from Megas, we have Over, as in Eevee Training. They've finally, after 6 generations, gone and done it. They've made Eevee Training accessible to a layman, and made it apparently less tedious. We've been shown, once again thank you to Pokemon Smash, that after completing a football-based minigame against Magneton, the Sylveon in training gained 8 EVs in special attack. Now we know that Magneton delivers 2 EVs if it's defeated in the wild, so this could even mean that you multiply the Pokemon's EV stat by 4, all the stat boost offered is dependent on the game and how well you do. Personally though, whichever it turns out to be, I am truly appreciate that Eevee Training has been made both faster and easier to understand. What's not being shown is if they've done the same for IVs. If they have, I'll be more than willing to call this the best breakout generation for legitimate competitive players. Game Freak, make IV manipulation a thing, or at least a way to see all the Pokemon IVs at once. Do it! We've also been shown the stage 1s for the new starters, and once again it's a mixed bag of joy and disappointment. So let's get the disappointment out of the way first, with Haribugu, Chessman's stage 1, and boy has Chessman let himself go. He looks like a grass type pig knight without the charm. Next we have Tyrona, the evolved form of Fennekin, and a vast improvement over Haribugu. She's elegant and looks more mature than her basic, which is something I felt that evolutions should always be. To me, stage 2 evolutions are best when they follow the growth of man, with the basic being when we're a child, the stage 1 being the teenager to young adult, and the stage 2 being the full-grown adult. Tyrona fits this trend so far, as does Gekogashira, Froakie stage 1. Froakie seems to have metamorphed from a standard pond frog to an Amazonian tree frog, and I really like it. He looks lean, he looks cool, and just like Tyrona, it looks like the teenager of the line. Pokemon Company, keep this up and don't ruin it right at the end. Even if you have made the fire starters out of the 2 trios pointless. What do I mean by that? Well, some people may already pointed out it's kind of pointless to get Fennekin if you want to get Charmander from the Professor, because you have 2 fire starters. But wait, both Fennekin and Charmander are pointless anyway, because we're being given Torchic so that we have access to Mega Blaziken. So Torchic is the fire starter because we have no options from the other 2 Hoenn Pokemon, leaving us with the choice of Water and Grass from Gens 1 and 6. That's if you want to balance your team, of course. If you just want your favourites, then sure, you could have 3 fire starters, and I guess you could rotate your team, but I've never known anyone to do that. Next we have the introduction of Turimian, the haircut Pokemon. It has the ability for coat which cuts the damage from physical attacks, and you can actually go to a salon and style its hair, meaning that it's our first customizable Pokemon. Alongside Turimian we also have Nyanicus, a Pokemon that has major gender differences, and to me it looks like what Nidoran was meant to be in Generation 1. One Pokemon that was different due to gender. As well as their appearance being greatly different, they also have separate move pools, with the male being more aggressive and the female taking more of a support role. And to finish off the new Pokemon, we have 2 new fossil Pokemon. The first being Chigarasu, a rock dragon T-Rex. With the ability Hard Chin, which increases the power of moves that use the jaw, such as Bite and Crunch. And we also have Amaros, Ice Rock Pokemon with the ability Freeze Skin, which changes its normal attacks into ice attacks and boosts their power. Now, out of the 2, I actually prefer Amaros, even though Chigarasu is a T-Rex. I can see Amaros' ability being more relevant. At its earliest levels, it's most likely only going to know attacks like Tackle, which doesn't hit anything for weakness. But with 3 skin, Tackle is now an ice type move and you get stabbed, so you can find an area that has grass type Pokemon and make quick work of grinding through your lower levels. And one last breaking entry for new Pokemon, we have Pyro, the evolved form of Litleo, which seems to have accidentally been set free by IGN. Thanks guys, love having more news. Moving on from Pokemon, we've been given a new weakness chart with some minor surprises. We could now confirm that the Fairy type is super effective against Fighting, Dark and Dragon, it's weak to Steel and Poison, it resists Dark, Fighting and Bug, is resisted by Fire, Steel and Poison, and is immune to Dragon. Another change to the weakness chart is that Steel no longer resists Dark or Ghost type attacks, which I find odd as they've made sure to make Steel strong against the new Fairy type and then taken away its ability to push back against attacks like Shadow Ball. Who knows, it could balance out the game or it might just shift the already existent imbalances, as minor as they are, somewhere else. Wow, more than halfway through and only just wrapping up the news. And now onto our main feature, if it can still be called that. Plasma Landorus, 110 hit point basic fighting type Pokemon with a weakness to water, a retreat cost of 2 and 2 attacks. The first of which is Extrasensory, which for a fighting and a colorless deals 20 damage plus 30 more if your hand size is the same as your opponent's. That's the number of cards in your hand, not the thing on the end of your arm. His second attack is Rock Tomb, which for 2 fighting and 2 colorless deals 90 damage, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat next turn. Now, that doesn't sound too impressive on the face of it. It's 2 for 20 that could be 50, or 4 for 90. But we have to look at why we're considering Landorus, and really it's quite simple. It's a quick answer for Plasma against Darkrai. Both Plasma and Darkrai thrive off their speed, but Darkrai is able to tech for matchups better and more consistently thanks to Sableye being able to grab back items like Catcher and Enhanced Hammer, meaning that Disruption is always an option for Darkrai. Plasma needs an easy out to Darkrai to help keep its edge in the matchup, and to make it so that a Darkrai player with a good start doesn't dominate the entire game. And this is where Landorus comes into play. Notably, Rock Tomb does take care of a Darkrai with one swing, but that's 4 energies, and I'm sure a seasoned Darkrai player would never let you set up such a heavy attack. But Extrasensory can get the job done with a little help. With a matching hand size, Landorus's 50 damage is seen as 100 to Darkrai. And this Landorus isn't an X, so you can equip Silver Bangle to deal an extra 60 damage. So we're already looking at potential 160 damage for 2 energy. But we have other ways of adding to the damage we deliver. We have the ever popular Kyurem, which can come in before or after Landorus and use Frost Spear to either set up or clean up a knockout on an opposing Darkrai. Plus we also have Hypnotoxic Laser and Verbank, which is guaranteed to work in the Darkrai Garbodor match, but can be shut down in the Darkrai Hydreigon matchup. Although to be fair, out of the two I can see Darkrai Garbodor being the deck of choice, with it being slightly faster and more consistent. Now, I'm not talking about this card because I think it's a quick or easy counter to Darkrai. In fact, it's because that it's not an easy counter that I am looking at it. It's a smart counter. You can't just slap this guy into your bench, play every card from your hand and then start winning without any thought. You have to match your opponent's hand size, which isn't always easy. The easiest way I can see this happening is in the early game. You get the cards you need to set up the one shot, then you end so that you both have 6 cards in hand, and proceed to take 2 prizes. So yeah, you go ahead on prizes in your early game, but you have to stay ahead, and if you don't play smart then Landorus's damage output can become limited. Now I do feel it's worth mentioning that Landorus can work the same against Thundurus X as well. In fact, with Thundurus X you don't need Verbank, but I felt it's more worthwhile to focus on how this tech helps away from the mirror match. The mirror match will tend to come down to who's the better player with a hint of luck thrown in. Plasma against Darkrai isn't as straightforward. But anyway, that's today's episode. What do you guys think about the new news and about Plasma Landorus? Let me know down below. And sorry that most of this episode was news, but Koro gave us a lot to look at, and you guys deserve to be kept in the loop. With that said, I'm Redheaded Joey. You guys are the top percent. Laters.